Welcome back. So in this week's Senate Judiciary hearing, Senator Jeff Sessions revealing major flaws in the refugee vetting process.
Do you make any inquiry about practices that we reject in the United States?
On all questions, we make it clear to refugees that we're a nation of laws and that they need to comply with our laws. I can't answer that question. I don't know.
Do you ask if you adhere to the practice of honor killings for people who violate certain religious codes?
I'm not sure those honor killings took place among the resettled refugee community in the United States.
Yeah, everything is fine. Don't ask too many questions. The hearing comes as the Obama administration reveals its plan to welcome more than 100,000 refugees in 2017. The public does not support this at all, according to every poll, but they don't care. So as threats grow here at home and abroad, are these the questions we ought to be asking?
Joining us now to weigh in, former Navy SEAL and Fox News contributor Rob O'Neill. Always good to have you with us, Rob.
Thanks for having me. Good morning, Abby.
All right, so what's going on here? Why are they not willing to call it for what it is?
Well, this is political correctness gone amok. Not amok, just it's normality now. This is kind of the way it goes. And you can tell Mr. Henshaw there was just nervous because he wants to say stuff, but his hands are tied. He's like, well, we're kind of doing this, and we check on their health, but we don't ask them about this because we don't want to offend them. It's almost like it's more offensive to ask someone about their religious beliefs and their political beliefs than to have someone blown up.
Right, it's politics at its worst.
It is completely at its worst. They don't ask them anything. They're not vetting them at all because they're just afraid of offending people. And it's just, it's this liberal ideology, I guess, that they're so emotional about everything and they want to be nice to everyone and they want to be caring, but they don't see reality. I mean, I've been overseas a lot to most of these countries. It's not the same as it is here. They're really not the same. And yes, they're saying they're putting through this cultural sensitivity training before they come in, but they're not asking them, would you rather be under Sharia or the Constitution? And this happens in a lot of the countries, and they all say, not they all, but higher than 90% say they'd rather have Sharia as the law of the land where they show up. So they want to have Sharia here.
So it's not like we have to guess what could happen, because for 40 years, Western Europe and Scandinavia have done just this, and the fruits are like terrible and impossible to defend. So basically what our authorities are saying is we would rather die than be insensitive.
Than offend you that way. And it's, I mean, even so, in the last 12 months, we've brought in 10,000 refugees from Syria, and probably no coincidence, there's also been 27 honor killings in this country. And an honor killing is someone that believes so much in Sharia law that if their daughter offends them by, say, dating an infidel or leaving Islam, or if their son is gay, there was just in Ohio last week, a man shot his daughter in the head, twice in the head while she was sleeping, and killed her.
Where are the feminist groups on this?
Well,
they might care.
Yeah, but they don't care because a lot of this stuff, it's like a priority of who not to offend.
Right.
We don't offend any of the Muslims. That takes precedence over the gay rights, over the women's rights. Even asking when they come in, do you believe in Sharia law? And a lot of Sharia law, a lot of these countries believe in the genital mutilation of females,
yes,
of throwing gay men off of buildings, of burying women up to their necks in sand and stoning them to death. For anything, they can get stoned for being raped, because some of these countries, their testimony is not worth as much as a man's.
Well, I can't even think about it. It's just horrible.
Well, they don't bring it up. I mean, they don't bring it up. And again, this is not. I'm not trying to broad brush stroke it here, but there are countries that believe this. I mean, our ally Saudi Arabia, they will publicly behead women, and this is a pretty modern country.
But another priority here is votes, right? We talked about politics earlier in the segment, but how much of this is politics and how much of it is doing it to get more votes?
I think that a lot of decisions that are made are just based on how many votes we can get, because party politics is also as important as political correctness too. That's why a lot of the open border stuff, that's why they rush people to get their citizenship so they can vote, because generally a lot of these people that will eventually end up on government programs will be voting for Democrats because they seem to be handing it out.
Well, of course, because Christian Arabs vote overwhelmingly for Republicans, and Muslim Arabs vote overwhelmingly for Democrats.
Right.
There are no Christian Arabs coming from
That's what
Syria.
I was going to say. You'll notice most of the refugees are Muslims, not Christians. Now, don't get me wrong. ISIS is killing mostly Muslims too, which is a different version of Islam.
Yes.
But they're persecuting Yazidis, the Christians, obviously the Jews. They never want anything good to do with the Jews, but we're just bringing over Muslims. It's like the Christians are being oppressed. There are parts of the Middle East where there are no longer Christians, where there have been Christians for thousands of years,
yes,
because the ISIS overrunning them. You know, Syria's a mess, and we should be helping the refugees out, but there's got to be a vetting process. And it's even as bad as ISIS has taken over. They have about, last time I checked, was about 10,000 blank passports, and they can counterfeit them. So, and ISIS is a lot of things. They don't lie too much. They said they're going to use our immigration policies to put fighters in. And you'll see these swarms, especially in Europe, they're all fighting-age males. Not a lot of families running around holding each other's hands.
I was going to say, what's going on in Europe? That is not a place.
Believe ISIS. That's a really smart point.
Rob O'Neill, thanks for being
Thanks for
here.
having me.
Rob.
Great to be
Really
here.
appreciate it. All right, well.